Last night, at 2:13 a.m., I watched a woman stage her own abduction, and 12 hours later, the diamonds she died for were in my car. Her name is Emily Ward. Blonde, 32, Pilates teacher on Instagram, married to a jeweler who's never home. We live 3 doors apart in the same narrow hallway that smells like hot dust and old mail. I know the way her footsteps sound because insomnia turns neighbors into radio stations you can't turn off. At 2:13 a.m., the hallway camera pinged my phone, motion alert. I saw Emily step out of her apartment with a gym duffel and a huge coat despite the heat. She looked straight into the lens, eyes glassy, lower lip trembling. Then she dropped the duffel, flinched like someone grabbed her from behind, and disappeared out of frame. No attacker, no struggle noise, just dead air and an empty hall. She'd practiced the angle. I know a staged scene when I see one. I used to be loss prevention for a chain of stores that people rob because the doors are too polite. At 2:14, she posted a shaky video. "If something happens to me, it's my husband." She said his name. She made it real. 2 minutes later, her account went dark. The neighbors' group chat lit up like a bonfire. Doors opened. Police were called. Her husband was at a trade show in Miami, or at least he said he was. His Instagram showed palm trees and a wrist full of watches. The officers took statements while the camera kept replaying that empty hall. I should have gone back to bed. I should have let strangers solve it. Instead, I did the thing you do when you've been broken by quiet. I followed the sound that wasn't there. I checked the stairwell camera. Emily didn't take the stairs. I checked the elevator, then the lobby. At 2:16 a.m., the side door to the parking garage opened on its own and closed gently, like a breath. She'd jammed the latch with something. Clever. In the garage, my car blinked awake when I walked by. Stupid proximity key. And in that brief flare, I saw a smear on my back bumper that wasn't there yesterday. Grease? Dust? A track like a bag had been dragged across it. My mouth went dry. I popped the trunk on instinct and found nothing but jumper cables and the cheap emergency kit every adult buys and never opens. I closed it carefully, suddenly aware of the exact weight of my fingerprints. At 3:02 a.m., a voicemail arrived from an unknown number. Emily's whisper, like she was lying on a floor she couldn't get off. "He's coming." "Please." Then 3 seconds of the wet kind of silence, the kind you can smell. I tried to call back. The number didn't exist. By noon, the building was a hive. Reporters, a detective in a tie that had lost its courage, a patrol officer knocking on every door asking if we'd seen anything, heard anything, liked anything suspicious lately. I told the truth like a coward. I saw the video. I heard the hall alert. I didn't mention the garage. The detective gave me a card anyway. His eyes had the dull shine of someone who knows he's 10 steps behind a story. At 1:40 p.m., the second voicemail came. It started as static and turned into a voice. My voice. "Don't open the trunk," as if someone had recorded me and looped it back. I didn't like how calm I sounded. I went to the garage because being told not to is a leash you yank yourself. The same smear on the bumper, a fly turning slow circles in the dead shade. The trunk lid was hot, then cold under my palm. I opened it like people open bad news, a little at a time. Emily was not in my trunk, but her duffel was. It sat there like a dog pretending it hadn't chewed the couch. Inside, a black hoodie, a burner phone, a small crowbar, and a velvet pouch with a zip tie through the pull. The pouch weighed exactly what expensive things weigh. I didn't open it at first. I only stared at the way lint collects on velvet like static snow. My heart pounded in my throat. The garage tasted like pennies. I zipped it open. Diamonds. The cruel, bright kind that don't care what they cost you. Later, I would count 16 stones set in white gold. A necklace designed to look like a clean conscience. The clasp was snapped. On the inside of the pouch, printed small the name of her husband's store. I closed the trunk. I walked away. I walked back. I tried to track the exact moment this story left the road and took us into the trees. At 2:47 p.m., the third voicemail came. No voice this time. Just a sound like a seatbelt tongue hitting a buckle, a parking garage echo, and then the chirp of my car unlocking. I was already running before it ended. The garage looked ordinary until it didn't. A red smear near the drain, not blood, something thicker. The kind of theatrical you buy when you want the camera to see it. Footprints in it, small, the pattern of Emily's running shoes. The elevator dinged, doors opening to emptiness. The burner phone in the duffel vibrated, screen cracked, one bar of battery clinging like a promise. A text appeared. Move her. I left the duffel where it was and went to the detective. I told him about the voicemails, the garage, the duffel, the diamonds. I told him I'd been an idiot about the trunk. He didn't call me an idiot. He smiled the slow smile police use when a suspect has volunteered to carry their own chair to the interrogation room. Why would she put jewels in your car? He asked. The answer was simple and impossible at the same time, because she needed someone to frame, and I was available. We pulled the security footage from the garage. At 2:12 a.m., Emily walked to my car. The camera had the same angle problem as the hall. If you knew where to stand, you could be a ghost. She disappeared behind my trunk, reappeared without the duffel, wiped the bumper with a rag like she was apologizing, and left through the side door. No one else. No attacker, no shadow. Just one woman arranging her own storm. Staged burglary at the store last week, the detective said, flipping through his notes as if this were a formality. Insurance doesn't pay if it looks internal. Husband out of town. Wife afraid of him on video. Neighbor's car as courier. Neat. You two friends? Neighbors, I said. It sounded like a lie because everything does when you say it in a police station. They logged the diamonds. They bagged the duffel. They took my keys for just a bit. I went home to a hallway that looked identical and felt different, as if the building had learned a new word. At 11:38 p.m., the fourth voicemail arrived. Emily again, but not afraid this time. You'll be fine if you stay quiet, she said, like she was reading from a script. He'll take the fall. Everyone wants him to. That's why it works, she paused. Thank you for helping. I didn't sleep. At 2:47 a.m., the ceiling ticked. The air shifted. The hallway camera pinged. I opened the app with hands that didn't feel like mine and saw Emily step out of her apartment smiling, hair wet, wearing a robe the color of a promise. She looked into the lens again, and this time she winked. Then she walked toward my door. The knock was gentle, like we were in a different version of the night. I opened it because the only thing worse than opening is imagining you should have. She stood there, alive in the way people are alive when they think they invented the trick. She smelled like hotel soap and adrenaline. You're not dead, I said. It came out small. I'm not married anymore either, she said. He'll be in jail by morning. He hits me. He steals. Everyone knows he's capable. The diamonds go back and I get sympathy in half. You get to be a neighbor who discovered a bag. That's your part. You put the bag in my car, I said. I needed a clean set of hands. A witness who didn't know he was one. She tilted her head. And you watch the cameras, don't you? You were going to see. You sent me voicemails in my voice. AI is cheap, she said. Cheaper than a lawyer. You could have asked me for help. She laughed softly. Men don't help without wanting to be owed. Then, kinder. This way no one gets hurt. Down the hall, a door opened. The detective stepped out like he lived there. Two uniformed officers followed, the choreography of inevitability. Emily blinked, calculation stuttering behind her eyes. The detective held up his phone. On the screen, her garage performance, her duffel, her wink to the camera outside my door, already copied and backed up and shareable. Insurance fraud, he said calmly. False report. Conspiracy. We can add more if you'd like to keep talking. Emily didn't run. She didn't cry. She looked at me, only me. And for a moment, I saw what I was to her in this story. Not a neighbor, not a witness, not a man. Just a hinge the door swings on. He deserved it, she said, but it sounded like she was asking me to say the line back. They took her away without lights or sirens. The hallway swallowed the quiet again. I stood there with my phone in my hand and watched the motion alert blink until it felt like a heartbeat. At 3:04 a.m., one more voicemail arrived. No number, no timestamp. A woman's breath, low and close. Not Emily, not anyone I knew. The voice said, "You understand now. It's never about who's missing. It's about who opens the door." I played it twice, even though I knew better. Then I put the phone down, locked the deadbolt, slid the chain, and sat on the floor with my back against the wood, counting the seconds until morning like they were diamonds someone else would spend.